Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar on how to scale up your design team in the era of Great Resignation. I do hope all of you are keeping well wherever you're joining us from. To start with, for the webinar, we have our co-founder and CEO who will be taking this up and taking this ahead and sharing some great insights with respect to the topic. Uh, Before we start with Varun, let me just introduce him quickly. Varun has incorporated nCircle in 2012 with a mission to create an impact in the 3D visualization software industry by developing the cutting edge solutions. Varun has been well known for bringing up disruptive solutions that can reduce time to market and meet the business goals in the AEC industry. And we all know that Varun has been a regular speaker at many AEC technology conferences and has been a crucial part of the Autodesk University event that happens every year. With this, welcome Varun on stage, and I request you to take this up at your end.
Thank you, Amit, and thank you all for joining. After the pandemic, we all have a feeling that there is a lot of work coming in and not enough people to execute the work. So we need to solve this problem. But I am not a human resources expert, and this presentation is not about how to hire good talent. But this is about how to work with people available and how to increase output from your existing team. I am a CEO of software company nCircle Tech, and I believe software can solve a lot of these challenges. I'm going to talk about how some other industries were able to scale up very quickly and add a lot of workforce in their operation. I'm going to talk about how software can solve expertise problem, lack of people problem, quality issues because of human errors. I will show you some case studies of nCircle and then talk about learnings after executing many software projects over the past 9 years. So a whole lot to cover. I'm sure it will be worth your time. So let's get started. In the past 9 years of nCircle, we served some of the best customers in the industry, from startups to Fortune 500 companies. I have been speaker at many conferences talking about different technologies and understanding day-to-day operations of different organizations. But what I found was many companies do not know the inefficiencies they operate with. They are too involved in the process and they are too busy to improve. They want to continue doing what they have been doing, just like the gentleman in the picture. What a shame. When we started our BIM services division in nCircle, it was difficult to add people to the team. But thanks to software automation, we were able to speed up the process and at the same time control QC issues that may happen because of new people in the team. Today, I am going to talk about how you can apply the same in your company and grow your team to the next level. Let's look at the current situation and the seriousness of this problem. We all know pandemic, COVID variants all have changed everyone and every industry. Perhaps I should even include war, invasions in the keywords in the list. But anyways, last year saw an era of great resignation. 47 million people quit their job in US alone. There is clear shortage of people, and at the same time, we are also seeing big jump in salaries. And even with big salaries, it is just not enough. This has put tremendous pressure on the financials of the company. But this is an external factor. Let's look at what is happening inside the company. Many of us were working from home. Some of us have professional setups, some less. And we've also heard people saying that they really want to go back to office. Why is that many of us can't work from home? The answer is simple: because there are too many distractions. Distractions lead to mistakes and sometimes rather painful ones. We've all been there some or the other time. This overall affects your design team in many ways: lack of coordination, quality issues, manual and operation errors, decrease in productivity, and many more. So we really need a mechanism to control such mistakes and speed up the productivity. So what is the solution? How can we solve this problem? Let's look at companies that have added a lot of workforce in short span of time. Let's take an example of Uber. Uber has 3.9 million drivers around the world. That is far more than some of the biggest employers. Why did it emerge as a leader in spite of many existing taxi unions, service providers, and many things? The answer is it created a system in which there is no need for training people to follow certain process because they were because of the very good navigation app. Drivers did not need to know a whole lot about different places in the city. Any driver could operate in any part of the city. Drivers with different languages could operate and deliver the service. It reduced expertise of skills expected from driver. It provided automatic updates to all concerned parties. It does not allow for any room for error. Performance measurement is very accurate and transparent. It provided a lot of flexibility to drivers. And also think from the control room operator perspective. Earlier, such an operator was trained to know different localities in the city. He was coordinating with different taxi drivers and at the same time communicating with customers. Operators required a lot of training. They were the bottlenecks, but one app changed all that. This, this automation and this app allowed Uber to add very large workforce in very short span of time. Then why can't we do the same thing in AEC industry? AEC industry, as you all know, is least automated industry, and a lot of us still underestimate the benefits of automation. AEC industry needs to adopt automation first approach in every step. Let's look at how automation addresses different issues and how it can help scale up the design teams. Expertise. Obviously, you can't match the productivity of an expert like we see in this video, but then what can we do? You can train people to do something complex, or you can reduce the complexity of the task itself. At nCircle, we created solutions that package expertise of the engineers into a software. This opens up companies to hire people with less expertise but deliver same or better results. Next is people shortage. You can hire more people to get more output, or you can get more output from same number of people with automation. At nCircle, we created solutions that automate many manual and repetitive tasks, thus increasing productivity and reducing pressure of hiring more people. Next is quality issues. You can add more people for thorough QC check, and you can you can really focus on automating all the QC checks and let machines do all the QC work. Again, at nCircle, we created so many QC checks that team cannot pass on any faulty model anywhere downstream. The last is lack of real-time data. You can wait for people, you can force people, please provide updates and all that, or you can proactively gather information from all the files submitted in the cloud, in any cloud storage system that you work with. At nCircle, likewise, we've created system to capture the status automatically from the files submitted. Let me show you some example projects and their benefits. So first case study is about data standardization to fix leakage problem in co-working space utilization. Management wanted to minimize leakage in the system and standardize ROI based on the seating capacity of co-working space offices. Design teams wanted standardization of the model so that they can run different automation and link the Revit data to their ERP system. Business challenges included the project was on very tight timeline to be completed within 6 months, large number of quality checks to be performed, and teams had to rely on different or multiple sources of information. So what did nCircle do? nCircle created a solution to automatically get files from BIM 360. On an automation server, we were able to run many changes automatically. Replace families, create sheets, automatic placement, room placement, create filters, create shared parameters, exports of different kind, even upgrade to latest version of Revit, all of that, which were very manual and time consuming steps. And we even published the files back into BIM 360 automatically. Obviously, all the manual steps cannot be automated. So there was a step involved in which manual modeling was required. Next slide, Amit. So in when manual efforts were required, we ensured that a lot of QC checks were performed automatically. Room tags, duplicate parameters like room IDs duplication or incorrect parameters, or even different count of entities, Revit warnings, standard families being used. Lot of that was all automated, and hence a lot increase in the productivity and quick feedback to every modeler in the team. Overall result, 500 plus buildings standardized with excellent quality and uniformity. Let me talk about our next case study. A large energy company needed to create BIM model from point cloud and extract quantification for heat loss calculation, energy sustainability improvements, and various other things. The challenge working on this project included like very high volume of houses to be converted into BIM model from point cloud to a actual Revit model. 100 plus houses scanned and converted into BIM model every week. Requires a huge workforce without automation. Moreover, there were experts required for converting point cloud data into BIM model. And lastly, quantification output would take a lot of time. Without automation, it would be really error prone. So first and first, most important solution that we created is to automatically convert point cloud data into a BIM model using machine learning. This is a big development. I've already conducted many webinars just specifically on this topic. But this automation helped us create like walls, doors, windows, floors, all of that automatically into a BIM model, Revit file in single click. It's a good starting point for modelers, and it saves easily good 4-5 hours of every modeling for every house, thus significantly shortening the modeling overall timeline. We once the BIM model is created, we also automated the process of quantification extraction. These are required for various heat loss calculations, heat pump calculations, and everything. To name a few, wall surfaces, room areas, ceiling areas, openings, all of these lead into heat loss calculation. And because of automation, we are able to sustain very high volumes of point cloud to BIM model conversion. So what both of these case studies showed us is automation really is important to scale up the productivity and also at the same time control the errors and issues that happen during the execution of the project. So now let me share some of the good learnings that we've gathered after implementing so many projects over 9 years. First is what to automate. Frankly, you can automate anything. We find some crazy automations around the world, but we really need to prioritize what to automate. So first learning is implement a good analytics. We need to find steps in your process that are time consuming and repetitive in nature. You can't really make informed business decisions without proper analytics. Analytics allow you to quantify effects of any changes and helps in optimizing the business process better. The biggest benefit of utilizing proper analytics is to identify all these redundant steps in your system and which tasks to focus on to get maximum ROI. Once you've identified few things, probably you will do regular impact effort quadrant. Something that has high impact, least effort are obviously the first things to start with. Some things that take very high effort and very low impact are something that you will really consider on the lowest priority. But I think all of the veterans have joined in the webinar today, and these are the things that you normally do and very regularly know of things. What are something new to focus on? So we've observed the important next thing is to really minimize and control our error rate. If you're implementing QC checks, you need to minimize false positives and false negatives. People really don't trust the system if you have too many false positives or too many false negatives. This can become really a make or break situation for a good automation or good software. About 50% of projects fail just because of this, and because end users don't trust the system. Next learning. In usual scenarios, there is huge gap between expectation and reality. We fail to understand expectation of the end user, and what we actually deliver is completely different. So it is very, very important that all the automation is discussed with the modeling team and the wider audience right from the beginning. People don't accept it if they are not aware of it, and healthy communication between the teams is of paramount importance. Next important step, really choose the right technology. A lot of companies have created automation using Dynamo scripts. Now, Dynamo scripting is very easy to get started, but scalability is very, very low. Plus, there are challenges of distribution. So there are other options to consider. You could write a Revit plugin, you could use a geometry kernel and a neutral file format toolkit like IFC, and automate your process without even dependencies of Revit. Or you can even use Autodesk Forge design automation API to run all your automation in the cloud. But what step you will take for the choice of technology will determine, are you making a big mistake in the initial stages and which will result into a lot of rework towards the end or later in your project, or it will be a solid product which is very easy and scalable. The next learning is really people are very, very resistant to change. So design your system such that it does not ask user to drop current system and move to something new. Create something that is a very easy transition right within their environment, right where they have been working, always operating, and kind of situations. Some solutions in the past have failed because they tend to become like a master system capturing all data. Then every time the problem is to push all data in regular manner to this cloud system, it just doesn't work. You may even think about creating a system which has almost all automatic triggers. For example, if you are doing QC check, I've learned this the hard way, that if I tell people perform this QC checks, execute this plugin before you submit the files, it just creates frustration and people don't do that. But if you can trigger this checks automatically, you get all the data presented very nicely in the dashboard, and you don't have to push people to run all these plugins. So really focus on reducing the adoption barrier. Any kind of training, any kind of change of steps, the change for every user should be minimal. The next is create automation that adds value to the modelers, really not the other way around. What we've seen is sometimes we end up adding modeling guidelines such that they are the guidelines are something to make automation work. Design in specific ways so that automation can extract quantities or do certain steps. This happens because sometimes those automations are not easy to implement, and probably a shortcut is to ask modelers to do extra step. But eventually such shortcuts lead into a scenario where modelers don't understand if automation is working for them or they are working for the automation. So really be careful about any guidelines that is getting added to modeler for getting the automation to work. And probably one of the last ones is really plan well with distribution. There's a continuous change, there will be continuous change and modifications into application that you develop. So you need to constantly deliver new versions of your software. You don't want all your users to be operating in different version of the software. It can become a maintenance nightmare. So right from the beginning, plan how do you plan to plan how are you going to deliver all the updates, installations, everything, and keep all your user base at the same level. I think that takes us towards the end of our presentation. Uh, no matter the size of the task, the time saved by eliminating any extra work is very critical, especially in today's world, to become market leader. Without automation, with automations, organization can focus on adding more value in the design and make better use of their workforce. There are really numerous benefits of automation: reduction in time, reduction in errors, scalability of your design team, smooth project execution, and real-time monitoring. Thus, in order to scale your BIM team, automation can play a very important role. It will help you do more with less. Bringing productivity is very close to my heart. I'm happy to chat with any one of you to discuss your project specific requirements. And I hope you like very short, sweet presentation from all the learnings that I've gathered over the past 9-10 years. Thank you all for joining us today. I will now open the session for any questions.
So, Varun, I have one question. So, what are the factors that you can map the success of your automation?
Right. So to map the success of automation, again, I focus a lot on analytics. If we are uh, automating something, you really need to start measuring the impact before automation and after automation. For example, if we are doing scan to bin, we very clearly measure time taken without all the ML output, without all the quantification, and time taken with it. The benefit that we put in, the productivity that we bring in can really add a lot of value and speed in the process. So measure every step, and really every small step could be very important, right? From how the data is getting downloaded or what else is happening, everything becomes important.
So, we have one more question, Varun. Can design automation in any way help the facility management in AEC?
Yes, I think it can help in a lot of ways. I mean, with facility management, I believe keeping all data up to date and all your ERP systems up to date is very crucial. So the time delay in any changes that you're doing and updating an ERP system is critical for decision making, and a lot of organizations don't realize the benefit of real-time updates to data. So with design automation, updating all your ERP systems whenever there are changes in your current facility status, any modifications in your facility, all of that can add a lot of value. So definitely worthy of looking at automation in facility management. We've also implemented an use case wherein we scanned nameplates of various equipments to identify, like before automation, someone manually would enter those complex characters of model number, serial number, and their warranty period and everything. But with again machine learning based automation, we could capture the photo of nameplate and it would automatically populate the data into facility management system. All of this is just very useful in speeding up all your processes. So I see another question, how you see design automation fit in construction phase with stakeholder management and project document management. So I think during the construction phase, the very crucial thing that I have been talking to some of the owners of construction companies, everyone is trying to really manage the cash flows. They want to know exactly how much project work has been completed before they release the next payment cycle. And the first and foremost problem that a lot of these stakeholders, especially at CEO level, CFO level, that they come after is they don't get live data to make decisions. By the time all the data is collected, presented in a dashboard format, it's already a 1 week, 2 week old data. So creating a system which, like if you are using BIM 360, gather all your information directly from the files in BIM 360 or other mechanisms, but aim for real-time data, and if not real-time, at least a very quick update of data, and that can help lot of stakeholders in faster decision making.
We got one more question, Varun, from Sonali. She's asking, what is the process to determine effort required for automation of a design process?
Sonali, for every process, we need to evaluate all the design automation steps. Of course, somewhere of implementation experts like us nCircle and my team can pitch in. But my approach will be, once you highlight all the important things that you want to automate, fair ballpark of lot of items can fast track the decision making. We can quickly tell that this particular item seems to be in this range, like 1 week, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or whatever, and you can speed up the process of decision making. I'm really not sure if I've answered your question. It gets into a very detailed evaluation of all the automation that you need to do. For example, one of the masonry automation that we've done to calculate bricks in a given building, of course, with maintaining all the masonry rules like openings and where you put the odd cut bricks and everything, that can take 1 to 2 years of automation as well. And some of the quick automations are like 4 weeks or so. So it varies really how much effort you put in the automation of design process. It will be very problem specific.
So that's about everything, Varun. But I think there's one more question that I've personally got. So can you give us an examples of most common tasks that we have as an nCircle has automated for our clients? I know that we've spoken about 2-3 case studies, but apart from that, if you can elaborate on something, that would be great.
Sure. I think a lot of automations, like I said, masonry automation, we've done rebar automations, we've implemented a lot of QC checks, pipe slope check, hosted elements check, standard families used, different parameters put in the process. And very importantly, we've implemented a platform like BIM connections, like I said, automatic triggers. You put a file in BIM 360, it will automatically trigger a QC check. It will generate a report, send an email to someone working on the file. Really putting entry barrier at front. We've designed all such systems. And I'm really proud about the fact that we are able to get files from BIM 360, make all the changes and publish them back in BIM 360. All this can happen for like hundreds of files overnight without anyone like really monitoring the system. So many things we've implemented. I'm happy to discuss anyone's specific requirements of automation. People really, automation creates a big USP. In today's world, it is probably not very important about who is doing the work. It is probably more important who is doing the work faster. So like
Yes.
one of the image, speed is everything. We need to get things done faster.
Yeah, I completely agree on it, Varun. So yeah, I think that's about everything. We've got the questions, we've answered the questions. I think if anybody has any other questions, they can drop us an email. We'll be sharing the recording as well, and they can reach out to us for any automation requirements that they might have.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining. It was wonderful having you all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Varun, for sharing the knowledge. Thank you so much.
Bye.